meeting. Thank you again, John. Welcome to Boulder Rotary, the best place to be on a Friday afternoon in Boulder, Colorado, and welcome to the first Boulder Rotary Friendsgiving. We're gonna have a lot of fun today. We've got trivia, we've got poems, we have stories, we have wonderful music. So let's get it started. So I would like to introduce Susan Buchanan, who will be leading us today in the pledge.
Please join with me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I was told, there it is. And the 4-way test of the things that we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Susan. Really appreciate that. Okay, so now I'd like to tell you about a volunteer opportunity that is coming up. So Sister Carmen is an organization in East County that helps service a lot of our low-income folks out there who maybe need a little help with their rent or need some help paying their electricity bill or just need some food. And they've told me that they're servicing, helping over 100 families a day right now, which is like twice as much as they usually do. And I know we've done several different food drives in the past this year, all very safe and very well done. And we're going to be back at Boulder Community Hospital. So Fred, if you could share the flyer for everybody, that would be great. So on December 5th, all of the district is going to be out there trying to do some kind of good on that day. And we, as Area 11, so the Boulder Rotary Club, the Boulder Valley Rotary Club, and the Rotary Club of Flatirons are going to be all together at Boulder Community Hospital. So out there in the parking lot from 9 to noon, and we're going to have Santa there. He's going to be waving at the kids, and he'll collect letters to Santa, and that way the kids who maybe couldn't see Santa this year can at least see him in the parking lot. And we'll begin collecting food and also money for Share a Gift. So this year Share a Gift is not collecting gifts, they are just collecting money. So if anybody wants to donate to Share a Gift, they can do that as well. So we're encouraging everybody to bring their non-perishable goods. And there's, I don't know if everybody knows, but today Boulder County has gone to red level, which means that a lot of people who are in the restaurant industry are going to be cut back on their jobs again. And we already have, a tremendous need. So this need is only going to get bigger, and it's about to be the holidays. So please, when you're out shopping for your Thanksgiving dinner, maybe you buy a couple extra things to bring on December 5th to the parking lot. Right?
Non-perishable.
Non-perishable, that's right. Okay, and so I'm gonna send everybody that particular flyer. So what we need from all of you besides food is you to share the word with everybody you know. So please do that. If you are my friend on Facebook, I have posted it to Facebook this morning, and I invited all of you. So please share it on your Facebook, share it with your friends, send it in your email, encourage everybody you know to come out and help us. Thank you. Okay, and so now we're going to do starting something new, which Charlotte and Cassidy have come up with, and I'm pretty excited about. So every week we're going to have a new person greeting guests, and so Paul Cure has volunteered today to greet the guests. Welcome, Paul.
Hello, friends. Thank you, President Sally. All right. So, fellow Rotarians, Nancy, would you like to introduce your guest today?
Hi, Paul. Okay.
Hi, Nancy.
Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. I have Lisa Bondi is on here. I'm trying to find her too. Where is she? Oh, Lisa, can you say hello so I can see where you are? I think your picture will come up. You have to unmute.
Can you see me, Nancy?
Okay, no, but could it, as long as everybody else, you know, just to show her, because we have so many people, we have over 75 people here. And so Lisa Bondi is a good friend of mine. She works in the forestry section. So she's also in,
Hi, Nan.
there you go. All right, so she's a good guest.
Older chamber.
Right, and Katrina is already a member. So she's here too, Paul.
Great, thank you, Nancy. And Ronnie, would you like to introduce your guest as well?
Yes, with pleasure. Sarah Parkinson was here last week, and she was so excited. She said, I'm coming next week. And she's a candidate for being a member of Rotary Club. And I'm very happy to have Sarah back with us today for this really interesting meeting.
Great, thank you, Ronnie. Back to you, President Sally.
Thank you so much, Paul. Appreciate that. Okay, and now Cassidy Murphy is going to tell us about a special thing we got going on today.
Okay, I'm hoping that you'll see a slide here fairly soon. There we go. We are doing a special poll that's not going to be on the Zoom. You have to actually go to a link, which I've included in the chat. And we're asking today for President Sally, what do you feel thankful for or happy about Boulder Rotary Club? So some people have answered friends or community or service or the things that make you happy about being part of Boulder Rotary. So I'm hoping that you will take just a second, but still pay attention to the exciting and wonderful program and type in something that you're really happy about. And you can respond as many times as you want. So we'll get back to you at the end of the program and what that looks like. So thanks.
Thank you, Cassidy. All right, and so introducing today's speaker, very special guest to Gary, is Gary Kahn. Gary, are you out there?
I think you're muted. Apologize. So it's my very special pleasure today to introduce the presenters, or at least the founder of Spicy Pickles, which is the music group that will honor us today with a lot of special music. Joe Smith is the founder of the Spicy Pickles, and he first fell in love with vintage jazz music and swing dancing while studying trumpet at Drake University and the University of Iowa. But he actually started playing music at the age of 4 when his grandmother introduced him to the blind pianist who lived behind her. And to keep him inspired and practicing, his grandmother used to pay him 10 cents an hour to practice after school. So that apparently fueled not only his musicianship and his career in music, but also his entrepreneurial instincts. So Joe is currently band leader, not only for the Spicy Pickles, but also for Joe Smith Orchestra and Red Hot Rhythm Rockets, 3 Denver-based bands. So Joe is also the owner and piano technician at 5280 Piano Tuning, and he's partner and executive chef at J.L. Schmitty's, where he brews up a special private label barbecue sauce. And if that isn't enough, Joe's also owner and photographer at Joe Smith Photography. So it's my real special pleasure today to present to you Joe Smith, who will introduce the band and tell you more about the swing dance program that he will be offering us. Joe?
Hello. Thanks so much, Gary. Thanks. We so appreciate the opportunity to come present some music to everybody. I'd love to tell you all a little bit about the band, kind of how I got things started and what really kind of drew me to this music. So when I was in college, the appropriate thing was to find a hobby to meet girls. And so through that, I started swing dancing, because what better way to meet girls than to like be dancing with a new girl every 3.5 minutes. So through that, I really found swing music and early jazz prior to World War II. And within 6 months of dancing, I went to New Orleans for a swing dance event, and really getting to see young people my age playing traditional jazz really brought it to life and really made it relevant to me, and helped me to see truly how relevant all of that music still is today, all of the content that they were creating. I was studying classical music at the time. That was the only option that the University of Iowa had in terms of undergraduate in music. And so, you know, I took some jazz classes, but was really studying classical, was really involved with organizing swing dance events. And so that kind of gave me the behind the scenes of seeing musicians who travel the country playing this music, specifically for dancers, as well as the jazz festival circuit as well. And so that really kind of drew my curiosity and drew my passion. And from there, I kind of took 3 different stabs at trying to get a band started. And just before the 3rd one, I came up with the name. The name came to me one day of the Spicy Pickles. And so I took that as my opportunity to, that it was finally going to work. And it did. I started the band in Iowa in February of 2013. In that time, we played in 7 states in about 8 months. We played more out of state than in state. And that kind of showed me that jazz was not really a thing that was overly popular in Iowa. And I was kind of seeking out a new home base. And so that's when I got drawn to come to Denver for a better pool of musicians, for an airport hub, for the beautiful weather that we get every day. And so I moved out here on Halloween of 2013, restarted the band, and we started gigging in 2014. So we've been kind of working and playing, touring across the country, coast to coast, really focusing on that 30s and 40s sound. We love playing for dancers, and that's kind of our bread and butter of what we do. And so I'd love to introduce the band as we play some tunes. I don't want to get too wordy with it, so I think I'd love to introduce 2 members, and then we'll play a song and we can do some more talking from there so you guys can get an understanding of just what we do. So the 2 people that I want to introduce up top is this song features 2 people. It's going to feature Braxton Kahn, Gary's son, and
hello.
there he is. BK's been in the pickle jar the longest out of anybody besides myself. He's been in the band now for 5 years. He's really a huge piece of our foundation, just in terms of really great drumming, really great singing, and he's just a really great person to be around. And we've been really fortunate with that, and he's shown a lot of great leadership over the years. So this tune is going to feature him on drums and vocals. I'll let you say something here in a second. And then Tom Amend is the other person featured on this recording. Tom is actually the newest member of the band. We just added a piano and organ player this year. There's a lot to that. I'll tell you later. But Tom is a graduate of UNC. He did his undergraduate and his master's there. Really amazing keys player, and we're so happy to have him around and as part of the band. He's actually now doing some arranging for the band as well. I'm going to let BK continue to introduce himself, and then we'll get to the music.
Hi, everybody. My name is BK. I'm Gary Kahn's son, and I have been, as Joe said, in the Spicy Pickles for 5 years, but I've been playing drums for about, 20 years or so. And I'm a graduate like me, and the rest of the guys besides Joe on this call in the band, Decker, Alex, and Gary, and myself, Gary Sloan, our bass player, for clarity, and myself are all alumni of the Thompson Jazz Studies program at CU. So Joe kind of poached a bunch of graduates of that program. And it's not a coincidence because we've all known each other since before we joined Joe in playing the swing music stuff. But this tune that we're going to play virtually, Fred's going to pull it up, is Ain't Misbehavin' by Fats Waller. Great pianist and early kind of popular songwriter, especially in the Black music community, is in the 1920s and 30s. And this is one of his big hits. You guys will probably recognize it, and it's called Ain't Misbehavin', and I'm singing and drumming on it too. So I don't know, Fred, if you want to go ahead and pull it up, and you guys can give it a listen. Hope you enjoy it.
This is called Ain't Misbehavin'.
No one to walk with all by myself. No one to talk with, but I'm happy on the shelf. Ain't misbehaving, saving all my love for you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I'm through with flirting, you're the one I love. I'm certain it's just you I'm thinking of. Ain't misbehaving, saving all my love for you. Oh, Blackjack Bonner in the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Your kisses are worth waiting for. I don't stay out late, don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my radio. Ain't misbehaving, saving all my love for you. In the corner, don't go nowhere, what do I care? Oh, your kisses are worth waiting for. I don't stay out late, I don't care to go. I'm home about 8, just me and my neighborhood radio. And misbehaving, saving all my love, oh I ain't misbehaving. Saving my love, oh I ain't misbehaving. Saving all my love for you. Thank you.
Great, thank you. So, yeah, big clap there. We're going to do something different here. I don't have any questions in the chat, so I'm going to take a risk and say, if you have a question, unmute yourself for the next 5 seconds and ask the question. If there's no questions, we'll go right on to the next song. So anyone got a question, unmute yourself.
I have a question.
Go right ahead,
Yes.
Meryl.
Yeah, I wonder, BK, could you talk about what I consider to be an amazing connection and cross-fertilization of African-American music with musicians and composers of the immigrant community in the U.S. During the first 3-4 decades of the 20th century?
Totally. So
I thought you'd like it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, no, that's it. That's a really, there's a very deep connection between the songwriters, often Jewish. A lot of them were Jewish immigrants from Europe. In Europe on Broadway, in the old musicals, writers like George Gershwin and Irving Berlin wrote these pop tunes for Broadway revues and shows, and jazz musicians starting around the 30s and 40s started to play their own renditions, adding kind of more blues elements and improvisation elements, and creating their own arrangements of these old tunes, like, for example, Blue Skies by Irving Berlin or Summertime by George Gershwin, to use those as two examples. And you hear early arrangements of Duke Ellington and Count Basie doing these arrangements of these songs, and small groups playing improvisations based on these songs, especially starting in the later mid-swing era, as well as the 40s and into the bebop era, which is a little bit after what we focus on. And Fats Waller was a unique example who wrote that last song, because he was actually a Black American piano player coming out of the ragtime and early swing traditions, writing his own original music. As well as, I'm sure he played versions of those Broadway tunes. But yeah, that's an interesting connection that we have between the Jewish and European American songwriters, as well as the jazz community, which originated in Kansas City and New Orleans. That was predominantly Black. So interesting cultural as Meryl said, cross-fertilization. So yeah. Thanks.
Mike.
Any other question?
Mike, you're talking.
Mike, I think you're muted.
Sorry about that. All I said, excellent question, Meryl. And thank you, BK, for that answer. Instead of taking another question, why don't we go ahead and go on to the next song? Would that be okay, BK?
Yeah, sure. Joe, would you like to introduce a couple of the other guys in the band, I guess?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I'd love to next introduce Gary Sloan on the bass. Gary is originally from Alaska, came to us through Arkansas, and then has been in Denver for 6-7 years now, I think. I'll let Gary talk to that, but Gary has his master's from CU and has been a really fantastic member of the band since 2016. We've been really, really fortunate, and he's got a lot of hats. Yes, he's got probably the best style of the band in general. He's the most conscious and likes to pack the most when we're on the road as well. So I'll let Gary go ahead and introduce himself.
Hello, and I did realize I'm wearing the wrong hat for this kind of music, so we'll switch over. Yeah, so my dad started the first blues band up in Alaska back in the 60s, and I've been inspired by him pretty much my whole life. And I play all kinds of music, but I've really settled in on all the genres of vintage jazz. To me, they have the best of all worlds. You have the improvising you get in modern jazz, but it's still accessible music, usually vocal, that anybody can come in and appreciate. So whereas I still do everything, my biggest love is vintage jazz music.
Yeah, I mean that's why I'm really drawn to this music as well. It's party music. It's original. It's America's original party music. So that's definitely a great point. The other person I'd love to introduce at this point too is Matt Bouchard. Matt is our reeds player. He's been playing tenor sax and clarinet for us since about 2017. He is a Denver native. He graduated from DU with his undergrad and did his master's at the University of Miami. Unfortunately, I don't think Matt got to be joining us today, but Matt's a really killer player. He's really picked up the style really well and really embodies that early rhythm and blues sound with the saxophone playing especially. So this next tune though that we're gonna play is gonna come from the time that we had a residency at Bowers in downtown Denver. If you're familiar, Bowers is now Dazzle, the new Dazzle location, and Dazzle's been there since 2018. Just a couple months prior to that, there had been a restaurant that had shut down. And so between 2016 and 2018, we had performed a weekly residency there on Tuesday nights. We always drew out a bunch of swing dancers. It was a nice little spot that allowed a little bit of intimacy with the performances. This is another Fats Waller tune. Originally featured Zudi Singleton on the drums. This time it's going to feature Braxton Kahn. This is called Moppin' and Boppin'.
All right, big clap. Thank you, guys. Well, you're going to be, we're going to have we don't have time for questions right now, so everyone save them up. We're going to be back with the band in about 25 minutes. So for right now, though, we're going to go right to NCW. NCW?
Well, hello, everybody. Well, next month is November National Gratitude Month. And with Thanksgiving next week, I figured I'd change it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm asking 3 Rotarians one question. So this is going to be a thankfulness membership moment. And first up is our wonderful, amazing Rotarian, who is Mike Brady, who runs Generosity Wealth Management. He's been a member for, wow, Mike, you've been a member since 2010. So you're there at least 10 years, and you were past president.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
my question, what are you grateful for to the Boulder Rotary?
I am grateful for all the purpose that it provides me and the fun that I get to do in the club with my wife. We are in this together. So I'm very grateful for that.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Mike.
Is it me already? You handing off the baton to me?
No, not yet. No, not yet. I'm going to have one more person come on. Then I hand it to you. I know you got to put the mute button on. Okay. So the next person I have up is our wonderful president-elect, Chad Stam. Oh, I have him on third. My mistake. I have Dala up next. Okay. So Dala has been a member, you're going to hard to believe this, 19 3/4 years since 2001. And she's been working with nonprofits and everything. And I figure she's been here long enough. She can tell us, what are you grateful for for Boulder Rotary?
Well, thank you, Nancy. Yes, I've been a Rotarian for a very long time. And I'm telling you, I am sure I have benefited much more from Rotary than I've given, because I have loved the opportunity to build goodwill and better friendships in a way that is beneficial to all, our club, our community, and that's been a fabulous opportunity.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dala, for participating. And Mike,
thank you, Nancy.
Handing it off to you.
Okay, very good. Well, we're going to play some trivia, guys. So I'm going to share my screen, get a piece of paper so you can write your answers down. This is all on the honor system here. So I'm going to share my screen, share my computer sound. We're going to go right there. Boom. And we are going to okay. First category, the first round here is music round. You're going to hear 4 TV themes. 1 point for the name of the TV show, 1 for the year that it premiered. Okay, so basically you have plus or minus a year. So it's all on the honor system. You're going to keep your own score. It's 20 seconds per question. So you have a maximum of 2 points per question if you get both of them right. So a total of 8 at the end. All right. So here we go with the first one. TV theme. 20 seconds. Okay, that's it. Next question. And remember, the second part of it is what year the TV show premiered. Here's TV theme 2. Okay, TV theme number 3. Okay, that's it. And last question coming up before we get to the answers. TV theme number 4. I forgot to start the timer, but you got about 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1, and pencils down, pencils down. Okay, now for the answers. Ready, number 1. The theme. The Addams Family, 1964. So if you said 62, 63, or 63, 64, or 65, you get the second point. The Addams Family. And here is this. Hawaii Five-0, 1968. Hawaii Five-0. Okay, coming up with the answer number 3. Mork and Mindy, 1978. Everyone from Boulder should know that. Okay, and TV theme number 4. Knight Rider. I love that show. David Hasselhoff. And that is it. I will be back for the second round of trivia in a few minutes. For right now, though, what we will do is we will hand it off to the next person, who is Nancy Jean Wagner, NCW.
Okay, thank you, Mike. That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. Thank you so much. So next up, we have our wonderful future president-elect, Chad Stam. Chad, are you on?
I am. Hi.
Okay, great. Chad's been a member since 2012. That's 8.5 years. And he's been so involved with our Boulder Rotary Club and a partner at the TNC Digital Media for marketing and digital stuff. So I wanted to ask Chad also, what are you grateful for, Boulder Rotary Club?
Only Mike Brady's trivia. That's it. No, in all seriousness, I really enjoy the club because it allows for relationships in the community and abroad. Every time I travel internationally, I try to attend a club meeting, and it's just amazing to have such a worldwide connection. I also, it's a familial thing for me as well. My dad has been in Rotary for a very long time, so it's great and fun to continue that tradition. And also, I've got another family member here in our club, so it's fun to hang out with my brother-in-law, Bill, too.
Bill Anderson he's talking about. Welcome, Bill. Okay, thank you for our 3 Rotarians, Mike Brady, Dalla Schuth, and Chad Stam, for answering our questions today. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Thank you so much, Nancy. That was great. Appreciate that. I do want everybody to know that for the trivia, we do have prizes for the first, second, and third, and we've got Rotary prizes, as a matter of fact. So make sure you're keeping track of your points, because we're going to ask for scores at the very end. And now I would like to introduce George Garmany, who will be talking about the Mayflower Compact and how it brought them together. George.
Thank you so much, Sally. I'm assuming that everybody can hear me. I've learned that the password for 2020 is George, unmute, because I seem to hear that a lot, but we've got it this time. That said, I just want to second what John Kotke said earlier about the impressiveness of the software package and so forth, because an hour ago I was participating in a scout meeting in Plymouth, England, where they were commemorating some of these events as well, and the ability to link into multiple circles is just fascinating. But along with all this technology and so forth has come the opportunity for people to express themselves in so many ways. And we've really come up at a time of contention in the US, partly related to that. In these contentious times, I want to share with you an example from early American history of how severe dissension was resolved without violence. In 1620, when the Pilgrims sailed from England, their company, the overall company, included 2 different groups who barely knew each other. The religious separatists, who were an established community, they were well established among themselves, had sailed from Holland on the Speedwell. The Speedwell turned out not to be seaworthy, and she had to be abandoned in England. The other group, which had really only assembled on the Mayflower, and they brought them in to help to pay the cost of the voyage, consisted of unrelated English families who didn't know each other, but they were on board looking for a better life in the New World. And some of the members from both groups had indentured servants, and the servants, of course, had their own points of view. So when they had to abandon the Speedwell, suddenly 102 of these people were packed, and we might say crammed, onto the Mayflower in the Plymouth Harbor just the last minute before she sailed, and suddenly they all had to get to know each other. Well, during the passage, which was right smack in the middle of the Atlantic storm season, the Mayflower was pushed north, and eventually she made landfall off Cape Cod, not where she was supposed to be. But 400 years ago today, the ship tried to sail south around Cape Cod to get down to the area near Hudson River, which was where they probably really wanted to go. And the settlers' patent would have been valid if they had been able to get there. Unfortunately, there were shoals in the way, and the shoals prevented that maneuver. So the ship had to turn around and was forced to go back north. Well, once it became apparent that they would land and settle in New England, there was an immediate sense of rebellion aboard. Some of the more independent passengers, particularly from the non-separatist group, threatened to strike out on their own, since there was no legal authority to prevent that. Furthermore, the servants were particularly enthusiastic about this possibility, since all of their legal contracts would be voided and they wouldn't have to be servants anymore. They could be freemen. Well, cooler heads from both of the subgroups recognized the fragility of their situation. They were just about to embark into what William Bradford called a hideous and desolate wilderness. And in the winter, and it was winter, of late November, actually it was December before they got where they were going, inspired partly by the example of the separatist religious covenant and partly by their secular experiences in Holland, they crafted a unique agreement that would include all the men, and I say men carefully, because married women had no rights of their own. And that document avoided discussing the divisions within the group. And I'm going to see if I can share that document with you, at least a copy of it. And gotta press a few buttons here. Okay, so you should be looking at this now. In any case, years later, that document became enshrined in our memory, called the Mayflower Compact, but the people who signed it only called it the agreement. And that agreement was completed and signed 400 years ago tomorrow. The old Julian calendar said the 11th, but our current calendar would be the 21st. This document would provide a framework for self-governance, even though it was replaced over the years by other documents. Now, the original was lost many ages ago, but Bradford copied it into his journal. And here what you're looking at is a copy from his journal in his own handwriting. You will see that they agreed to, quote, covenant and combine ourselves into a civil body politic for our better ordering and preservation and furtherance of the ends aforesaid, and by virtue hereof to enact, constitute, and frame such just and equal laws, ordinances, acts, constitutions, and offices from time to time as should be thought most meet and convenient for the general good of the colony, unto which we promise all due submission and obedience, unquote. Now, none of the adult men were allowed off the boat until they signed that agreement, and that was frankly the end of the mutiny. The mutiny was brewing, and that was the end of it. Over the next few weeks, it would become painfully obvious to everyone how critical it was for the group unity to be preserved if anybody was going to survive. Ultimately, the community became Plymouth Colony, surviving independently as a separate colony for over 70 years until England's King William combined it into the Massachusetts Bay Colony in 1691. And so that is the story of the Mayflower Compact. Thank you all very much.
Great. Thank you very much, George Garmany. Okay, we have the second round of the trivia. So get your paper out, and here we go again. Okay, 1 point per question. Ready? It's on Thanksgiving, and this first one should be a give me. Category is Thanksgiving. In what year was the very first Thanksgiving feast? Very first Thanksgiving feast. In what year? 20 seconds. What year? And I got it from the internet, so you know it's right. Okay. And Next question. Approximately how many turkeys are sold every year for Thanksgiving dinner? And this is going to be plus or minus 5 million. So there's a lot. Oh, I got to start your timer. How many turkeys sold every year for Thanksgiving dinner? Okay, next question. There's only 4 questions in this round. This is question number 3 on Thanksgiving. The traditional presidential turkey pardon started with which president? The traditional turkey pardon started with which president? Okay, and the 4th question is, which professional football team has played every Thanksgiving since 1934? Which, yes, Sally, I see that. Which professional football team has played every Thanksgiving and lost most of them since 1934? And that's it. Okay. Here are the answers. Ready? Number 1. And what year was the very first Thanksgiving feast? 1621. 1621. Yeah, George, you got that one. Okay. We got question number 2. Approximately how many turkeys are sold every year for Thanksgiving dinner? 280 million. So plus or minus 5 million is give or take. Give yourself a point. Okay, next one. Question number 3. The traditional presidential turkey pardon started with which president? President Harry Truman, 1947. President Harry Truman, Harry S. Truman, 1947. And the 4th question in this round is, which professional football team has played every Thanksgiving since 1934? Sally, I think you know the answer. Why don't you go ahead and say it? The Detroit Lions.
Lions. Woo!
Detroit Lions.
And
that's
they
right.
lost, like you said.
And they lose most of the time. So that being said, let me go ahead and stop my, be sure to add up your points. If you have 12 points, because you could have had 8 and 4 is the maximum number. If you have 12 points, post it in the chat. Otherwise, we will get back to you after we do the 3rd round. Let me hand it over to George Russell. Go ahead, George. And you're going to have to unmute yourself, George.
We don't have anybody for our birthdays, but I do have a little poem. I've decided absolutely, unequivocally, without a doubt, to be totally ambivalent about those things that I know nothing about. And the things I know completely and totally understand will be firmly and solidly implanted like a feather in shifting sand. Because sometimes the more you learn, the more things are unclear. And the concrete truths of yesterday may be different this time next year. So don't shut in your knowledge and clutter your brain with factoids of all kind. The secret to knowledge is to always leave the door open to your mind. Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, George. We appreciate that. That was great. And now President-elect Chad would like to talk to us for a little bit. Chad.
Yeah, so this is the public service part of the program. Just want to take a few minutes to talk to you about the foundation. Last week, we saw the power individuals can have, whether soldiers on the beaches of the South Pacific or the CU students on the streets of Boulder. This week, we're realizing the power of friendships. So with many amazing individuals forming so many powerful groups, it's no wonder this club accomplishes so much, but it takes more than brute force or individual will. It also takes money. It takes money to send vets on an honor flight. It takes money to help reduce the frequency of suicides in Boulder County. It takes money to host students from around the globe every year. It takes money to pretty much do everything that our great club does. Now, there's one thing that you guys may not know, and that's that much of our efforts are supported by undesignated funds, not from money given to specific projects. At the same time, specific projects are the main source of much of our funding. So today I'm going to ask you to help build our pool of undesignated funds and provide our club with greater flexibility in our actions. November is Boulder Rotary Club Foundation Month, and the first day of December is actually Giving Tuesday. So if you can make a donation to the foundation in support of our general good works, the foundation would be very grateful, and so would you, the members of our good works committees. So thank you for considering, and if you can consider a donation to the foundation, we would be most grateful.
All right, thank you, Chad. Appreciate that. And now we're back to Mike Brady for some more trivia.
Okay, coming up on round number 3, and this is the last of our rounds. Sharing the screen. Get your pen and paper out. Category is Famous Sallies. Okay, so let's see how we do. Question number 1. In 1983, this Sally became the first American woman in space. This Sally became the first American woman in space. Okay, time is up. Okay, next question. In the 2006 Pixar movie, I don't know if you guys can see that. There we go. In the 2006 Pixar movie Cars, Bonnie Hunt voiced the animated car, Sally Carrera. What color was Sally the car? What color was Sally the car in the Pixar movie Cars? Unfortunately, there's only 1 million colors out there. So, I mean, you've got good luck there. Okay, we've got about 5 more seconds. And boom. Okay, next question, number 3. This Sally was an actress on All in the Family. This Sally was an actress in All in the Family. What is her last name? And you don't win if you say her first name is Sally. So her last name is what we're looking for, just to be completely blunt. Okay, let's move on to the last question. Okay. Which Peanuts character does Sally Brown have a lasting crush on? Which Peanuts character does the character Sally Brown have a lasting crush on? After we get done with the questions and the answers, I'll go over to Sally for the prizes. Okay, there we go. Let's move on. And then we have a bonus question. So here are the answers to round number 4. This Sally became the first American woman in space. Sally Ride. Okay. Question number 2, Pixar movie, Cars. What color was Sally the car? It was blue. She was blue. So that's Sally the car. Okay. Question number 3, this Sally was an actress on All in the Family. Sally Struthers. Sally Struthers is the last name. Okay. And the last question is, which Peanuts character does Sally Brown have a lasting crush on? That would be Linus. And there we go. So let me stop sharing my screen. Let me hand it. So do you want me to figure out who has the most points? Okay, great. So if the maximum points were 16, so add them all up. Okay, hopefully you don't need a calculator. Okay, we're all overeducated. All right, so if anybody has 16, raise your hand and unmute yourself and say, I got them all right. Okay. 15. Raise your hand, unmute yourself and say you got 15. Got to hurry. because I'm going to go down to 14. This is like an auction. Okay, 14. 14, anyone? Going once, going twice. Go. 13, anyone 13? 13. Okay, 12. 12. Okay, this is a particularly good-looking group. Okay, 13, 12. 12. Oh, come on, these were easy questions. 11. 11.
At 11.
Who got 11? Kitty DeKeefer is our big winner. Big clap for Kitty DeKeefer.
All right, Kitty is going to win a 100-year commemorative history book of Boulder Rotary Club. Oh, Kitty! Yay!
Okay, is that that's the only prize, right?
Two more prizes. Two more
prizes for the next one. Anybody else get what was that? 12? Anyone else get 12? Okay, 11. Unmute yourself. 11.
Mike, I had 11.
Oh, you had 11. Oh, okay, yeah. Got it. Good. I'm glad no one said they had 12. Okay, so now let's go down to 10.
10. Yeah, I had 10.
Yeah, Dr. George Russell's got 10.
All right, George. George, you will be the new proud owner of 2, not 1, but 2 Boulder Rotary masks.
Cool.
Yeah.
That looks cool. Great.
Okay, we want you wearing that next meeting when you do your poem. Not really, then we wouldn't hear you. Okay, so now we got anyone else on 10? Okay, there's gonna be a lot on 9, I think. 9.
Woohoo!
Yeah, Lena, all right.
Not in Lena, we had to combine our brains, but we got.
Okay, you guys get each get half a gift. Okay, so anyone else on 9?
Yes.
Okay, great. John Sullivan and Lena and John. Anyone else on 9? Okay, so Sally, I just promised a bunch of gifts. So how many more gifts do we got? These guys, what do they get?
Well, they get to choose. So you can either have a mask, like George is getting, which he's getting 2, or you could have a pop socket. Rotary pop socket.
And should they just chat and tell you
what they want? Yes.
Okay, great. Anything else, Sally? Shall I move on to the bonus question?
Bonus question.
Okay, because this is actually really important. Now, just so everyone knows, November is No Shave, November, to bring awareness and raise funds for men's health issues and suicide and cancer and things of that nature. So we've got one more question that relates to this. And I just want to give you a little clue. Remember who created the trivia and who is the sole determinant about whether the question is right or not. Okay, so the next question is, who has the better looking beard, me or Daryl? Okay, so you get to choose what the answer is, but there's really only one true answer. So that being said, I will stop my screen and we will go over to the band. Whoever wants to represent the band, take it away.
That's a tough question there. So yeah, I'd love to talk a little bit more about kind of what we do, and we've got a couple more clips coming up, including some with dancers. So we'd love to talk about kind of where we've been and where we're going, because that first clip is really going to be something different for you. So we really started the band to play specifically for swing dancers. We love playing for swing dancers because there's such an interaction between the dancers and the musicians. There's a conversation that happens between the rhythms that they do with their feet and what we play on our instruments. And we absolutely love that. Things from call and responses, where we do repeated patterns over and over again and allow them some space. And I'm BK, feel free to jump in here whenever you'd like. That's definitely one of the big reasons we love playing for dancers. They also throw a lot of energy right back at the audience, or right back at the bandstand. And, nothing beats that kind of egging each other on, kind of seeing how much energy can be built it really can get rowdy. We play quite a bit at the Mercury Cafe in downtown Denver, and their upstairs dance hall can sometimes see, 200, 300 people on a Thursday night or a Sunday night when they've got their swing dances going on when it's not COVID. And so that's one of the big things that really drives us. For me, there's this really big idea of recreationism versus being a purist that just plays music. And so we're definitely a recreationist group. We feel very strongly about not negating what's happened in the last 70, 80 years in the US. And I think that we want to still throw some new influences in wherever we can. And so with that, the vocalist that you're going to hear on this next track is, her name is Geneva Riley. And I met her when she moved into our house as a roommate back in May. And she's a really fantastic hip hop artist and rapper and singer. And so this next track is going to feature a little bit of everybody. You're going to hear Decker Babcock. He's the next musician that I'd love to introduce to you. Decker is originally from Atlanta, Georgia. He came to Boulder to do his master's at CU on trombone. And he has been part of the band since the beginning of 2017. He loves this music, and you can hear that passion in all of his playing. The other person that you'll hear in this is going to be Alex Heffron. Alex is the youngest member of the band now. I'm starting to get squirrely with everybody's ages because we've been playing together so long. I think Alex is 23 or 24 now. He is an alumni of the CU program. He graduated with his undergraduate in jazz studies on guitar. And so this next tune is called Real Fine Daddy. Dope.
Tell my other boyfriend I don't want him no more, 'cause you sure look good to me. Yes, you sure look good to me. Baby, you're the only one who can relieve my misery. Real fine daddy, I know we can agree. Everything you got is strictly meant for me. We sure can have some fun. Yes, we sure can have some fun. Don't worry about me talking. I won't tell the soul what we've done. Real fine daddy, come fall into my arms. Call me sugar mama. Give up all your charms. Oh, you sure look good today. Yes, you sure look good today. Come on in my house and you'll never, never run away. Baby, I'm a sucker for your eyes, and when you smile, the corners crinkle a little bit. Heart flips, spritz, then does the splits. It takes my all just to hold it in. It takes my all to hold it in. Keep you returning, 'cause you are yearning. I can give you something more, bring you right back to my door. Nothing that you had before. I will shake you to your core, till you're left burning, 'cause you are yearning for me and my sweet sting. Oh, I am your next thing. Hold me so gently from dawn until daybreak. We got into this sweet. I'll change your life for wrong or for right. just my style. Now pull down the shades and we can kiss a while. Come on in the dark, just come on in the dark. Baby, you can have my kiss, you can come on back
All right, big thank you. All right, I don't see any questions in the chat. So once again, we are going to let you unmute yourself. And the first person who does that gets the first question. Otherwise, we'll go on to the next song. Anyone? I do notice that Cassidy put some great links in the chat. So be sure to check out their website and their music.
Yeah, I have a question.
Gary, go right ahead, sir.
I would wonder if maybe, Joe, you could reflect briefly on what the pandemic has meant to you and your band and your members in terms of being shut out of your usual activities.
Oh, yeah. Man, it was like such a shock. We were actually supposed to be playing in New York the weekend that everything shut down. Literally, Alex had already left. Hey, Decker. Alex had already left on like Wednesday. Thursday is when we really started to see Broadway announcing that they were shutting down. And then we made the call early Friday morning. Unfortunately, Decker had already gotten on a plane. And so that was really like a huge kind of like wake up call for us in terms of COVID and how all reaching it's going to be. It's been really difficult. All of us are primarily musicians in terms of how we make our income. Decker does a little bit of aviation work, and then I do piano tuning is pretty much the only thing that's been going for me. It's been really unfortunate. I mean, we had a monthly residency lined up at Dazzle to start that was supposed to start in March among the festivals that we had booked. And so it's been a really hard year financially and emotionally for all of us. And I'll let the dudes talk to that as well. But, you know, we've really, the only opportunities that we've had to play have been these recording sessions. So what you just heard was a session that we recorded a set for the Big Spiderbeck Festival in Iowa because they couldn't happen. They wanted to do a virtual festival. And so we did that set. That was the first time that we had played together since the end of February. And then we just recorded on Monday, we recorded a clinic that's going to be shown at the Midwest Band Directors Conference, where we talk about teaching your students how to play in the style of Old Testament Count Basie. And so we have really loved those opportunities. We're talking about doing more recordings and just creating more music to put out there. We're kind of looking for some sponsors to help us cover some of those costs to be able to release more stuff. The Relish album, the Bandcamp link that you'll see in the chat section, that's got a bunch of new tracks, and we're going to be continuing to add new tracks that we've recorded from that July session and from this November session. And we're hoping to go back into the studio again in December and record some more stuff. You'll see a mix of that has Geneva on it. Her stage name is Honeydew. That was the vocalist you just heard on that Real Fine Daddy recording. Those were her verses in the middle. But I'd love for the rest of you guys in the band to talk a little bit about how this has affected you as well.
Well, greetings everyone from the San Jose airport. I'm flying back to Denver today. Today marks I guess the past 2 days these have been my first actual performances since March 12th. It was March 12th, the day that I was on an airplane heading to New York, and I got a text message from Joe, and I hung my head in such sorrow that all the gigs were canceled and I was at 30,000 feet. So this has been very interesting for me personally. It certainly has posed its own set of challenges, and I've had to kind of delve deep into, okay, what other things can I do that aren't in the restaurant industry that's kind of stable to, make rent and things of that sort. But as Joe was saying, these opportunities to record together and play together, as well as the opportunities that we have to even do clinics and teaching. As we all know that our kids are in online school for the most part right now. That's mostly very present here in the California area. I did a couple clinics out here 2 days ago when I got in to some online schools. And so having these opportunities with Joe and the Pickles to get together and, record clinics for the future of jazz, as well as getting opportunities to record these tracks for the Relish album and other things that we might be coming out with pretty soon. These are incredible opportunities for sure, but this year certainly has posed its own unique set of challenges, and there's been those, oh boy, do I get to pay rent this month moments? But through hard work, we persevere.
This is Gordon Gamm. I was asked to be the responder to this event and to thank you all for participating. It was so much fun having a cornucopia of different kinds of things to do between the trivia and the jazz, and I just love jazz. That's my favorite kind of music. And then a history lesson on the Mayflower. I mean, we had the whole thing. I've never had an opportunity to virtually dance with so many people and at the same time, and was able to watch Daryl dancing with his dog, and so I don't know if that was anticipated, but I just wanted to thank you so much. And in your honor, the Boulder Rotary Club is pleased to contribute 100 doses of vaccine to the Polio Plus Fund. After 26 years of arduous work, Rotary and its partners are on the brink of eradicating this tenacious disease, but a strong push is needed now to root it out once and for all. It is conceivable for polio to be eradicated in the next few years. It is a window of opportunity of historic proportions as we move forward with the polio endgame strategy. If we all have the fortitude to see this effort through to the end, then we will eradicate polio. Thank you again for this wonderful evening and fun together.
Thank you, Gordon.
Thank you so much, Gordon. I appreciate that. So I think we're going to have one more song, but I did want to say thank you to John Kotke for being our past president greeter today, to Susan Buchanan for leading us in the pledge and the four-way test, always to Fred Hull for putting this all together, Cassidy Murphy, Bill Anderson, and Mike Brady for putting this all together, Daryl Brown, my lovely husband, Paul Cure for greeting all our guests today, Gary Kahn as our introducer, and we'd like to thank Joe Smith and the Spicy Pickle Bands, Joe Smith, the band leader, BK Kahn, Alex Heffron, Gary Sloan, and Decker Babcock. Thank you so much, guys. We're wonderful. Nancy Chin Wagner for leading us in our gratefulness today, Mike Brady for all that fun trivia. He worked really hard on that, you guys. And then George Garmany, thank you very much for updating us on the Mayflower Complex. It's very interesting. It was very cool. Thank you. George Russell for your poem. Chad Stam for informing us about the foundation. Cassidy Murphy for her poll, which we're all going to see in the rib. She's going to give us the details on what we all thought about Boulder Rotary and what we're grateful for. And Gordon Gamm, thank you for being our responder today. And I will be sending everybody out their information about the food drive on December 5th. So we all have some work to do in this next week to get out the word to as many people as we can. And we can all do that. So please tell everybody about December 5th and bringing the food in for Sister Carmen. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. We're dark next week. And I'm going to adjourn the meeting and then we'll have some more music. Have a great week. Okay, everybody.
That was Matt Bouchard on the tenor saxophone, Alex Efron on the guitar, and Hama Mend on the organ. I'd also love to reintroduce the rest of the band. We also have Decker Babcock on the trombone and Braxton Kahn on the drums, as well as Honeydew on the vocals. Thanks for tuning in and taking the time out of your day to enjoy some spicy pickles. You can see us at thespicypickles.com, and we'll see you soon.